I guess, Kelsi, just maybe an opening statement about this one.
I was extremely, you go through the first, especially the first two quarters. And then I thought in the third, there were some really good glimpses. There were some moments where, we brought it back, we tied it, we kept it really close. And then, they kind of went on that little run when they hit some threes, especially in the fourth quarter when they came out and they shot, like 80% from the 3-point line and 90% from the field. That's kind of hard to guard at that point. And, they've got some depth. They've got a lot of size. Key came back for her first game in a while, and that's a huge difference maker, especially with their size advantage. But overall, with my players' effort, their fight, the way that we, executed for the majority of the game, I think we're just getting better and better. I keep telling them there's going to be a breakthrough and it's going to happen. They just got to stay the course. They got to keep believing. And when they stay together and they buy in and they keep doing the right things, good things are happening for us.
Emily, your Arkansas high scoring, just what was working for you out there today?
Yeah, I think just being aggressive and attacking, but also just sharing the ball whenever, two people are on me, drawing defenders and hitting the open people. But yeah, I think just for me, it's just I knew that coming in, I got to be aggressive. They were long. All of them were pretty tall. So just take it at them. If you're not open, just be smart and kick it out.
Third game in a row that the team has really come out kind of firing. How are y'all able to do that right now, even, going through a losing streak, to come out and stick together and show that type of fight?
Yeah, I think it's just really all about your fight. This is probably the most I've lost in my whole life. So I think just showing up every day and continuing to know that eventually we're going to get that first SEC win, and eventually we're going to turn this program around. We just got to keep showing up and keep pushing.
Yeah, and for you, it looked like you hit your head on the ground, and then you came right back in and took a charge. I guess, how much of the, intensity, physicality of the game were you just embracing today?
Yeah, my first game in the SEC, I knew, it was so physical, and so I've just been able to kind of get used to it, I guess, and also be physical back and not let people push me around. And so I think that's what's helped change my game, and just, I kind of was a little dramatic on my fall, but I think it did piss me off, and so it was good to just, continue the game.
Let her use that for some positive emotion.
Kelsi, just, you're up 44-41, I think, 4 minutes left in the third quarter, and then it's like Kentucky can't miss. Just what changed right there for their offense to wake up?
I thought that they found the three ball a little bit. They hit a couple of transition threes, and that kind of hurt us because they hadn't really got those threes. Prior to that moment, they hit two in the first, and they didn't hit a three in the second. We were really doing a much better job of guarding that 3-point line. And when when you get those three balls, it was the same thing for us. When we started hitting the three ball, it's a little deflating, and that kind of put us at a slight disadvantage for that moment, I think. And then, Bonnie and Ash got a little bit of foul trouble, and that kind of affected us too, because I thought we were really just gaining some momentum and really just coming together with that fight at that point when we'd be able to claw our way back and get a little bit of a lead.
Yeah, speaking on the foul trouble, Ash was kind of keeping y'all at least within distance on the rebounding margin, and then she goes out and it kind of gets, I think the final margin was big. But just, I guess, how important is that for y'all to have her? She's run into some foul trouble, but just her presence on the court for that rebounding aspect.
I think it's been huge. I think she's done a much better job of she's guarding, but I think at the same time she's blocking out and she's going to get the rebound. I really did see that today. She was really going for it. With that size advantage, we're doing all we can just to keep everyone else off the boards. And so for her to really be able to go grab some boards and be assertive with it, it was huge for us today. And I think that gives us confidence when she's able to do that.
And obviously Clara Strack was a force. Just, I guess, what was kind of the game plan to try and at least limit her, and I guess at what point, it seemed like the teammates woke up and started hitting shots, then how hard do they become to guard?
They become really hard to guard because, like you said, 6'5", 6'5", and, 6'4" in the paint for the majority of the game. But I think when they try to ISO her, there were a few moments we could have done a better job of packing it in, but we got to pack it in off the right people. I thought there were a few times we had our rotations off a little bit. We weren't, sticking to the correct help, in my opinion. And then especially when we tried to mix up the zone, I thought it was good. We were able to get a few stops, but then we were helping in off the wrong people again. So we have to be a little bit more active, aware, and alert in those situations. And I think that hopefully we can contest some of those threes. A few of them were uncontested. A couple of them were contested. You know, you make a big shot, you make a big shot, but we've just got to make sure that we stay the course. You know, and they're big and physical, and they're a high-quality team, a well-coached team. But I thought for the most part, like as far as being physical, we stayed physical the whole game.
Yeah, I know the shoulder had, of course, something to do with it too. But, the beginning of SEC play for Bonnie, it seemed like just a real adjustment. She's come on strong. I think all 18 of hers might have been after halftime today. Just what are you seeing from her that's helped her maybe adapt a little bit?
I think no matter what, you can tell them all day long. You can say, hey, this is about to happen. Hey, we're about to do this. The SEC is this. The SEC is that. And no matter what, until you get in that moment, I think it's hard for them to fully grasp it. And so once we got into these moments and you get hit a little bit, you take the full brunt, the bruises, and now it's like, okay, now let's settle down, and here's what we can do. We have to stay the course. So I think we've really done a good job lately in the last couple of weeks of practice is really honing in on our scout and honing in on our offense, because I think our offense has gotten a lot better. We're sharing the ball better. We can still do a much better job. And then starting to knock down the three ball, which I think is something we're good at, and they're starting to believe that for themselves and actually getting it done. So I think just, like I've been telling them, stay the course. And I think Bonnie is starting to settle in and realize, I think the same thing with Emily. I mean, everyone's just getting better and better. And that growth is going to cause a breakthrough.
Yeah, you look at, maybe the final score of the last two games against two really elite teams, and it might look like it was a 20-point and 22-point loss, but anybody who watched the games knows y'all were in there for a lot of it. How much do you think that just the ability to hang with these teams for as long as y'all have might be leading to just confidence in the team that they can play with these top teams?
I think that it has. I think, like I told him the other day, even at LSU is one of the top 10 programs in the nation, one of the best teams in the SEC. And I thought there were moments where we still could get downhill. We were still able to get some shots off, and we're playing elite players night in and night out. So I reminded them they have to stay confident. Confidence will take you a long ways in life, and we have to stay confident. We have to stay the course, and we have to stay together. But utilizing that confidence to turn it into something positive, whether it's scoring or getting stops, getting big rebounds, making big plays. We have to continue to do that. And, like I said, I think the breakthrough's coming, and I think when we play an entire 40-minute game with a little bit more flawlessness, a few less mistakes, I think we're right there.
And Emily, I know you alluded to it earlier about just you said you haven't lost this much, but you know that y'all are building something. What's the belief like, at least in the locker room, as far as that y'all are going to have that breakthrough moment?
Yeah, I think you just have to believe in yourself, believe in the people around you, and like I said earlier, just show up every day. Eventually, this is our first year, and we're going to lay a good foundation for the rest of the years. So I just think showing up every day and giving your all, even if you don't feel like it.
All right, thanks, y'all.